Alright, so I put the 14 tooth front sprocket back in. Prior to that, I had the 15 tooth for, I rode the 15 tooth for about 4,000 miles. My bike now has, let's see, bike has 4813. Right, 4813. So I rode it for about 1,000 miles with the 15 tooth. So basically, I only had the 14 tooth in for maybe like 700 miles or so before I put the 15 tooth in. So now I'm back to 14 tooth. So let's look at the numbers first. So here I started, on this ride that I had today. I got 88.5 miles. This is my phone GPS app. It's 90.66 miles. So basically, that's like about 2 miles difference. Is that right? 88, 98, 90. Yeah, so about 2 miles difference, approximately. So the GPS shows 90, whereas my odometer is 88. My trip meter 88. So basically, that means if this is accurate, which I believe it is, because the cell phone uses cell phone towers as triangulation. So that's just like, instead of satellites, you have cell phone towers to triangulate versus satellites to triangulate. But anyways, so that means this here. So I think this is more correct, and this here is probably a little bit off because I have look here. I have smaller or narrower, I should say, narrower tire, but the profile is taller. So it's actually, this height here is actually taller. So basically, the diameter of this wheel, overall diameter is higher. So basically, it's gear taller. So this is taller than stock, basically, right? So a little bit taller than stock. So going back to this, that means this right here is reading. The reading is pessimistic. So it's reading lower than the actual, right? So it's pessimistic. Here's the actual, or more actual, and that's the pessimistic. Let's look at miles per hour. Miles per hour from here to here at about 50 miles an hour. It's about 2 miles an hour slower on here. So this is reading 50. This is 52. And if this is 50, that's about 48 or so. So about 2 miles an hour difference. So this one is showing a slower speed. So basically, the speedometer is also pessimistic. So both the speedometer and odometer is pessimistic. So that's good right there. Prior to the 14, when I had the 15 tooth, I had the stock tire size. So with 15 tooth stock tire size, I didn't check the odometer, so I don't know what it is. But with the speedometer, it was for every 25 miles an hour, it was 1 mile an hour pessimistic. So basically, if my speed here said 25, this one said 26. All right, 50, and this is 52, 75, 78. Right. So if it's at is that right? My number is right? Yeah, that's right. Every 25 miles an hour difference, it was 1 mile an hour. So that tells me it's so at 50, this is 50, this is 52. That means it's 4%, right? 2 out of 50 is 4%. So that means the 15 tooth one speedo is 4% more optimistic than the GPS. And this one, well, actually earlier I had mentioned the 14 tooth was did I say 2 miles an hour for the 14 tooth? No, what I meant was 1 mile an hour difference for the 14 tooth. So on the 14 tooth, with this larger size tire, when this is 50, this is 51. So basically it's only 2% difference in speedometer. Odometer, let's see, we're not at 100 miles yet. It would be better if we could get to like 100 miles, then we could see. But here, you know, just looking at this, that's pretty close to 2 miles an hour at 90 miles already. So 2 miles an hour less. So that means it's a little bit over 2%. It's probably like, I don't know, 2 and I wouldn't say 2.5. I don't know that. You get do the math. You know, just one divided by the other, and you could see what the percentage difference is. So I think it's like maybe 2.25. I think maybe 2.25 or so, something like that. Difference. So yeah, so that's the 14 tooth with the larger size tire. I don't know what the original, you know, 14 tooth with the original size tire is. I never did that measurement. So and I probably don't need to do that. Maybe you guys at home, if you're running stock gearing and stock tire size, you could check it out yourself. So you don't need to see, you know, you don't need to set that number for me. You can figure out that number yourself. Okay, let's see what else with the gearing. I think that's it with the gearing. So the folks that are, actually let me talk about the gearing, how it feels. So the folks that want to go with a 15 tooth, to go a little bit taller, that's okay. Let me turn this off before the battery dies. So you need to turn this off too. I'm only at 22%. So so with the 15 tooth on the front here, that's okay if you're like, you know, if you're basically living in a flat area, or you're, you know, like Florida, or if you do like a lot of freeway driving, then I would think that's perfect. On the stock gearing, even with the larger rear tire, I think like for freeway use, I think it's probably revving too high. Just, you know, it's not as nice. So I would definitely go with a 15 if I was mainly doing that type of riding. But I don't. I basically do mountain riding. Majority of my riding is in the mountains, and the 15 tooth is just way too tall. It just doesn't feel right. And I think I mentioned this before in other videos. But the 14 tooth, it feels pretty much perfect. Even with this larger size tires, it's right now it still feels pretty much perfect with the 14 tooth, the stock gearing, and, you know, and obviously slightly taller in the rear tire, so that means slightly taller than stock. Yeah, it feels just right. I mean, the revving and everything, because with the 15 tooth, you know, this has a close ratio of 6-speed gearbox, right? With the 15 tooth, it increases the final drive ratio. So when you increase the final drive ratio, the 6-speed close ratio becomes wider apart from each other. So instead of having a close ratio of 6-speed, now you have kind of like a wide ratio of 6-speed. So when I'm in the mountains and I'm in one gear, like, okay, that gear is too tall, let me downshift. And when I'm downshift, oh, that gear is too short. So I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm in between gears. With the stock gearing 14 tooth, the 6-speed ratio is a lot closer. So it's closer to each other when you're in one gear versus the other. So as you're up in a higher gear, okay, that's a little bit too tall, let me downshift, and it feels just fine. It feels perfect. But when you're in the lower gear, you're like, oh, you're revving too high, let me upshift, and it feels fine. You know, it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like you're missing a gear between those the two gears. So I think 14 tooth is fantastic. I would say it's great for, you know, in the mountains, twisty roads, even urban setting too. I think it's better than the taller gearing. Other thing with the stock gearing is slow speed maneuver is easier. Slow speed maneuver, you're like, wait, what does it matter? When you're doing slow speeds, when you gear taller, your rev's not that high, especially with a small engine and that doesn't have that much torque. Your rev's not high, so you're like, oh, so you're feathering, you're giving a lot more throttle just to keep the engine a little bit more stable, so the engine doesn't lug. At the same time, you're feathering the clutch, because if you don't, you just let it have full engagement, your speed's gonna be too fast. Because you're revving a little bit higher, so you don't want the engine to lug. But with the stock gearing, you rev a little bit higher, and you don't have to feather the clutch as much, and you don't have to worry about going too fast on slow speed maneuvers. So I like that better too. So basically, like for example, if you make a U-turn right now with the stock gearing, it's easy compared to using a 15 tooth. With a 15 tooth, I have a harder time doing a U-turn, especially if there's a car in front of me and they're doing a U-turn and they're going real slow. I'm like, God damn it, But if no one's in front of me, it's fine. But when the car's in front of me doing U-turn as well, it kind of slows me down. And with the 15 tooth, it's I have to work the clutch a lot and the throttle a lot, just to prevent the engine from kind of lugging a little bit. But with the 14 tooth, that's not a problem. It's much easier, much more forgiving. So yeah, so if the folks that are thinking about 15 tooth, I don't recommend it unless you live in a flat area and you ride in places that's really open, like a freeway and stuff, where you don't have to worry about gearing too much, and you want to drop your rev down. That's really the only reason why I would do that. So I'm going to keep the 14 tooth unless I do like a long road trip, like earlier this year or end of last year, actually, between Christmas and New Year's. I did a trip down to Baja, all the way down to Cabo and back up. So that was what was it? That was like a 3,300 mile trip, probably more. It's probably 3,400 miles or more, because I had the 15 tooth on there. So anyway, so that trip right there, like something like that, is perfect for the 15 tooth. There was mountains and twists I went on, but it was only a small percentage of the mileage, and most of the mileage was just open road where you're basically more or less going relatively straight. So that's 15 tooth is perfect for that. Now if I had this 14 tooth for that trip, it would have sucked. It would have totally sucked. So yeah. Let's see, what else did I notice with the gearing? Other thing I noticed, especially when you're accelerating or when you're going uphill, and basically when you're putting the engine